I'd like to introduce Chris from Scotland. Chris has multiple sclerosis. Welcome.
Hi, Linda. Nice to speak to you.
Could you tell us when you first started to get your MS symptoms?
Trying to count the years, but it was about, that I recognised was about 16 years ago, pins and needles, but I'd had optical neuritis a couple of years before that, but 16 years ago was the first time that I was at a doctor and they started to think it possibly was.
Mm-hmm. So by the time you were diagnosed, what symptoms did you have then?
I had numbness and pins and needles from my feet up through my trunk, and that had come on after a holiday. I had the optical neuritis, and I was beginning to have eye problems, and I'd always had good vision. But I also think I was beginning to suffer from fatigue, but didn't recognise it then.
Mm-hmm. And how did it affect you psychologically, being told you'd got MS?
It was a bit up and down, because I basically bullied my doctor into telling me what he thought it was, because he asked me about my eye, and he was a new doctor, so I'm like, I've come with funny feet, why are you asking me about my eye? But I saw a specialist quite quickly, and I was just relieved that they thought they knew what it was. Also, I myself knew there was quite a lot of variety within MS, and that there's a lot of new things happening with treatments and things. So I was interested, but also determined to just get on with things and manage it. So I looked at my diet and things like that. But soon afterwards, I began to feel a bit down about it. But I'd made a change in my life. I gave up my incredibly stressful job. I'd met a new partner, and I kind of decided to focus on me and on my health for a while.
Mm-hmm. So how did you find LDN?
I found LDN through talking to other people. I had an undiagnosis and then a re-diagnosis in the meantime. And a few years ago, I went to Revive in Glasgow, the MS charity, with the hyperbaric chamber, etc. And through that and through the various forums online I joined, people started talking about this LDN, and I didn't know anything about it, because certainly when I'd first been diagnosed, it was not talked about much, and so I didn't know about it. By this time, my main symptom was cognitive and very severe fatigue. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking for something, and that's where I looked into it and looked up on the website, and I think I asked you, Linda, a few questions online and things, and that's how I decided to give it a go.
Were you able to get an NHS prescription, or did you have to get a private one?
A private one. My consultant said it wouldn't do me any harm, and wrote that in a letter, because I happened to be seeing him anyway, and wrote that in a letter to my GP. My GP had read the information I'd given him and was interested, but because he'd never heard it before, was a bit wary. But it's kind of following my progress with interest.
Yes. So did you have any introductory side effects when you started?
Just a few days of really, really colourful, weird dreams. Mm-hmm. And also, I think one of my early questions was about taking it in the morning, and I decided I would take it in the morning rather than the evening, and that seems to work. But otherwise, nothing. Oh yeah, very slight constipation, but that was all. Just for a few days.
Mm-hmm. So how long did it take before you started to notice something?
A couple of days. Literally, within a couple of days, I felt more awake, more, even with strange dreams, and I had more energy. I could stay out during the day longer if I wanted to, or I suppose the main thing was when my partner noticed that when he came in of an evening, I was actually able to get involved in cooking dinner with him and have a conversation, rather than just being completely exhausted and just wanting to go to bed but not feeling like I should because he was home.
Mm. Right. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. So what is your life like now you've been on LDN?
It was almost exactly a year next week after, I think. And the main difference is a month ago, 6 weeks ago or something, I decided I would go back to self-employment. I've been on ESA, but knowing I'd be reviewed and thinking, well, I'd rather make the effort myself. I'm not working a huge amount of hours, but looking at doing more things. The other thing I would say is that I've been able to socialise and do other things that maybe I'd been putting off because of worrying about being too fatigued. And also, I'm very lucky that I still can drive, but I was wary of being out and getting so fatigued that I wouldn't want to drive back, because that certainly had happened when I'd been working before, that I was out and about and I knew I had to get myself home somehow, and that was a big worry. But now I feel, as long as I'm still pacing myself, it's obviously not 100%, but I'm able to do more. The other main difference is that my cognitive problems, I wouldn't say have improved, but have levelled out, and I'm able to manage them better, both with the LDN and with other tips. But I think that my brain is retraining itself. I'll be able to learn new things too.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say to other people who are contemplating trying LDN?
Absolutely try it. I know a few people who've had bad side effects and it hasn't worked for, but it is so worth it for the possible benefits. The cost, even the fact that I do have to pay for it and do it privately, it's still not much, and it's worth it. And I think that we are so much not able to be in control of our destinies with this kind of condition, and many other conditions it could help. Then I think it's worth a try.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.